Hello everybody and welcome back to Beer Beer Reviews with me, your host, Jack. So, it's the second time in a single night that I found myself sitting down in front of a camera and waxing lyrical about how fantastic it can be to be a beer geek in this world. The main reason because when I was recently out in New York, I was in search of this particular beer for quite a long time. It was released on one of the days when we were out there, and I must have gone 3, 4, 5, 6 times to a couple of bottle shops that I knew were going to start stocking this to try and pick it up. Unfortunately, none of them actually did pick it up before we had to go home, but it just happened that a friend was out there about a week later, and I was saying, I really miss this beer, and it's a shame I didn't get it, but oh well, it doesn't really matter. And lo and behold, they've come back and they've brought me said can. We're just having a little kind of beer tasting tonight with each other, and we cracked this open, and I heard a few things from some American friends saying that Grimm are going to be some really cool guys to keep an eye out for in the future. And no longer have we had a few sips of this when we said, right, Jack, you're going to have to crack the camera open and do a review on this, because this is one that shouldn't be missed if you are in the New York area. So, as such, here we go with a beer review. This is Grimm Artisanal Ales Afterimage IPA. These guys are some gypsy brewers based out of Brooklyn, New York, although they brew in many different places as well. I think they brew on Staten Island. There's a brewery on Staten Island that's name's eluding me, and also I think this one was brewed in Virginia, Sterling, Virginia, Beltway Brewing. So they're gypsy brewers, and these guys focus on barrel-aged sours that are usually dry hopped, and also on big, juicy East Coast style IPAs and double IPAs, this being one of them. A nice 8% double IPA, comes with a funky label on it with all those kind of after images, that image that gets burnt on your retina, so when you close your eyes you see it. And this is the first one that they've made in cans, and you can see it's these kind of silver bullets, and you can see how much it's been bashed around on the flight coming back with my friend, and he's quite lucky it didn't rupture, I guess, with these nice, you're seeing a lot of these on mobile contract bottlers canners at the moment in England, these sticky on labels, which I'm not humongously a fan of, but I see why people do it. It's a cost thing, right? It's better to get labels that you can stick on a relatively cheap can. And we all know that cans are better for beer, right? We all know that by now. If you don't, there's loads of things out there that'll tell you why. But yeah, moving on, we've already got this one poured out, obviously, as in we've got an empty can in our hands, and in the glass we have a nice kind of strawberry wheaty colour little beer here. There's a little bit of that hoppy haze on it, but I'm not surprised with an East Coast IPA or American IPAs, there tends to be a bit of a hop haze. But where this one really sings is if you get it, go nose in there and give it a good old smell. Because on the aroma on this is just the most pure tropical fruit juice you're ever going to smell. There is passion fruit, there's guava, there's mango, there's pineapple, tiniest little bit of hint of dankness, a little bit of sweetness on the nose as well. It's not massively resinous and piney, it's a completely different beast to the West Coast style of IPAs. It's much juicier, much softer, fleshier, fruity sort of aromas, as opposed to like the pure hop kernel, piney, resinous, grassy, leafy sort of aroma. It's a completely different world away from those West Coasters. We had the other half brewing company's Hop Showers review not so long ago, and some from their brew house as well, and they were kind of that hybrid. They have that dank, resinous, hoppy note, but also the juiciness. This one comes across to me as much more of a juicy bomb. So if you can't tell, I'm already really excited. Cheers, I can't wait to get it in my mouth again. Despite its 8% ABV, this beer is just so juicy and ultimately quaffable and crunchable. It's all complete mango juice. It really is just this fantastic, all the kind of sweet, soft flavours from the hop oils, all those delicate essential oils seems to have been just distilled and made into this beer and just completely compacted and stayed in there. Freshness is just one of those humongous things about American IPAs that sometimes gets missed in the UK. They will just not compromise on it, and I'm glad that this can's fresh. Grimm were only producing these double IPAs for draft until they decided that they were going to do some canning, and they were really worried that some of the nuance of the beers was going to be lost. Judging by this, it's not happened. There's this nice little bit of cracker bread, or graham crackers I should say, and a little bit of sweet, nutty almost kind of carameliness, but all juice all the time. Barely any bitterness, just a little bit. But it's just about perceivable, but it's not crushing bitterness. It's juicy, it's soft, it's rounded, but in the best way. You can just tell it's pure hop juice. It's really remarkable. These East Coast IPAs, when you get them, are really remarkable. The ones at the top of the game just blow your mind away. The Headies, this, absolutely mental. Now, I did catch, we were having a look and see what hops were in here, and I couldn't find it on the website, but I did manage to find it online. This has got Mosaic, Eldorado, Falconer's Flight, which is a blend of hops in a single pellet, Columbus, and Simcoe. And these are some pretty heavy-hitting hops that you normally get. I mean, things like Simcoe are starting to be catty and resinous, but they managed to get the juice out of there rather than the kind of catty. I find Simcoe really catty, and not in a bad way sometimes. And the other thing is they also use their own house yeast, which is, again, unsurprising. These East Coast breweries start to use English varieties, English strains of yeast, which is completely unique to them as well. And hence, sometimes where you get a bit of haze on their beers, it's not necessarily just hop oils. It can also be unflocculent English ale yeast. But the key one that everyone knows being Heady Topper. Oh, sorry, I should say the Alchemist's Conan Vermont ale yeast, which I think is probably used by some of the Vermont-based brewers as well. Although the Hill Farmstead say they use London Ale Yeast 3, which is technically Boddington's yeast, would you believe? But just as another great example of an amazing beer coming out from some guys who are really passionate about what they do and don't cut corners. And that's probably the message from tonight. When you don't cut corners and you can produce some absolutely amazing beer. And I am forever thankful to Toby for bringing me this beer. I was really wanting to try it, and I'm really glad I did. It's absolutely spectacular. It is. So if you do find yourself in the New York area, make sure you check them out. And also the big boys, they still produce some good stuff as well. This is a sublime beer. Please like, favourite, comment and subscribe as always, and until the next beer review, cheers everyone.